Hey guys, I'm Mandy Adendorf. I'm the director of the Firehouse School of Supernatural Ministry, and today I want to speak to you if you think that God can't talk to you or you don't hear God. You just are somehow spiritually deaf. I want to encourage you today because we've been speaking in these past videos about dreams and hearing from God, and it occurred to me that some folks struggle with thinking that God doesn't speak to them because maybe they don't dream or have visions or experience God in the way that their friends are experiencing God. But let me tell you, God does not make spiritually deaf people. Every person has the capacity to hear from God. We hear God in different ways, and many people hear God by impressions. And what I mean by impressions is, for many of us, we will know what God is saying because we sense what He's saying. We just have a sense in us, something will hit us, and we will just know. And that knowing is a very valuable way of hearing God. It is something that is very common, and sometimes we dismiss it. But that is something that God speaks through. So God does speak to you. I want to encourage you, if you think that you haven't heard much from God in your life and you don't hear His voice, to also begin to treasure small things that you think He may be speaking to you in. So for example, if you think maybe something happened, for example, you were praying to God for an answer, and then you drove down the street and you saw a sign on the road, and it was the exact answer that you needed, and it was literally right there after you prayed. We could just dismiss that as coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidences. I believe God speaks. And so if you have one of those coincidences, instead of just saying, oh, maybe that was God, maybe that was coincidence, engage with God and begin to thank Him for showing you something through that supernatural experience. Because when we begin to take the small whispers of God seriously and value them, those whispers will increase until they become a shout. And for many people, the reason we think we don't hear God is simply because we think His whispers are coincidences. We don't think God would speak to us, but really He's trying to get our attention. And if you look in the Bible, you will see that one of the, it didn't only happen once. God spoke more than once in a small, quiet voice to His prophets. And so if we listen for the small voice and those things that others could just think are coincidences, and we begin to value that and thank God for that, and begin to look out and watch out for more ways that God will speak to us, we will see our increase in our ability to hear and discern the voice of God. So I encourage you in that. I encourage you to look into our school, Firehouse School of Supernatural Ministry, because it is our passion to equip you in hearing from God and knowing what God has given to you as a son and a daughter.